Alright, hello everybody, this is going to be my video for the Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 4 review, recap, discussion, etc. And, there's going to be spoilers in this. I mean, it's the day before, I'm going to upload this the day before the new episode, so I would hope you have seen it by now, seen this episode by now. This is just a recap, and um, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff that happens in this episode, so if this ends up being like more than 60 minutes, just like watch the episode again. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, starts off with a flashback back in Wakanda with Bucky um, and Io 6 years ago, and she helps deprogram him. Um, Bucky's like really worried that it's not gonna work. Um, and he even starts crying. She finishes deprogramming him, and she like comforts him, you know, says you're free. And goes back to the present, and which is 2024 actually, and Io's pissed. Bucky explains that they needed Zemo's help, and she explains that the debt and that Bucky has to Wakanda, and the damage that Zemo's done to Wakanda, i.e., like King to King King T'Chaka's death, which he framed Bucky for. But she ultimately gives him 8 hours to get Zemo. I mean, till they come and get Zemo. So then Bucky meets up back with Sam and Zemo, explaining that Wakanda's here for Zemo. Zemo jokingly thanks Bucky for defending him, and he also pretends that maybe he didn't kill Nagel, even though they all saw it. Certainly up to no good. Sam's like, yeah, you did. You straight up shot him. Then Bucky tells Sam about the bombing Carly did on the GRC supply. Bucky says that there's 11 injured, 3 deaths. Listed demands, promised more attacks if the demands aren't met. Violence should never be the solution. But I think the show makes it pretty clear that GRC is not innocent in this at all. As they're, responsible for systematically pushing refugees into camps and, more or less letting them die, either from like starvation or sickness, etc. Zemo pipes in saying, "Oh, she's getting worse." It questions whether the other two have what it takes to even complete the mission. Sam's like she's just a kid, but Zemo says that he's clouded, or his judgment's clouded. Claims Carly's a supremacist. Like he's anybody to talk. The royal oligarch that he is. He then says super soldiers will always lead to trouble. It's warped aspirations that led to the Nazis, Ultron, and the Avengers. Now, Sam and Bucky are a little upset that you mentioned the Avengers, but Sam also insists that there should be a peaceful way to stop Carly. So Zemo, reiterates that super soldiers will always be corrupted in his supremacy. Bucky and Sam and we all disagree, basically because Steve Rogers was never corrupted, and Zemo's like, oh well, there's never been another Steve Rogers. Sam goes into the story about his TT, his aunt, and when she passed, everyone had a ceremony, and maybe they're doing the same thing for Danya. Zemo seems to mock him, saying his TT would be proud of him, and tosses him a Turkish delight. kind of like... supposed to be moving these slides as I talk, but your TT would be proud of you. Alright, Alright, then it cuts to the Flag Smashers in their camp listening to the news about the bombing at the GRC facility. It says one of the workers had only been there a week, and that the Patch Act was going to be fast-tracked to restore traditional borders. Obviously, Carly's pissed. The bombing also brought more followers to the Flag Smashers, though. You cut back to the boys who have arrived at the GRC camp. You know, Zemo's talking about how he used to know this place, but he didn't know. Well, he used to know this place and how beautiful it was, but he wasn't really aware of the politics at the time. And we do have to keep in mind, I think we should, that Zemo, with all the wealth that he has, he's living the life of luxury, while in the same country, Wanda was like living in deep poverty. So keep that in mind. And we see these posters to restore, or reset, restore, rebuild, and it's just really it just highlights that GRC wants everything to go back to the way before the snap, including the poverty rates, because this area looks really impoverished. They then begin investigating, telling Zemo to see what he can find outside. Sam goes to the building, asking anyone if anybody has seen Donnie Abadani, that she was a refugee here, but everyone just walks away from him until one guy clarifies, "We aren't refugees, we're internationally displaced persons." Sam just says he just wants to help out, but the guy's like, "I know what happens when people say they're going to help out, nothing." And, he goes on to say how the GRC promised them teachers and supplies, but that was 6 years ago and it never happened. Not 6 years ago, 6 months ago. It was 19. Zemo creepily sings "Ba Ba Black Sheep" and pours a bag of Turkish delights on a stool in front of the kids. He uses the kids to get information on Danya's funeral, makes the girls promise not to tell Sam and Bucky, who are both standing behind them like, what the fuck is he doing with the kids? They go back to Zemo's tacky loft, and Sam starts talking about Carly, about how Carly isn't wrong. For 5 years, people have been welcomed in countries that have kept them out using barbed wire. There were houses, jobs, not just the communities came together, but the whole world. Until the snap was undone. Bucky starts pressing Zemo for info, saying that Dora Milaje, the Dora Milaje are going to be after him any minute, but Zemo wants to keep his leverage. Right. Bucky gets pissed, but Sam says, "Take it easy." Zemo will just manipulate him. Sam calls Sharon for help for surveillance. She agrees to talk and talks about how the power broker went apeshit when Nagel died. The Flag Smashers retrieve the remaining serum It turns out it's in this guy's grandfather's grave. He goes on about how the his grandfather worked. Well, he didn't. He fought in World War II against Nazis, and that because of that, because of his grandfather, he looks up to Captain America. Foreshadowing. He says, "We need a hero that knows what it's like for the regular people and knows that it's impossible to keep your hands clean these days." And he says that what they're doing will outlive the shield. Carly says she thinks the shield should be destroyed because it's a symbol of bygone era. That the serum is how they will produce change. Then they'd head to Danya's funeral. The boys in blue roll up. The boys in blue roll up on Sam and friends, and they are pissed Zemo is with them. Walker accuses them of breaking Zemo out, but Bucky pipes in. Technically, he broke himself out. Zemo, wanting to show his usefulness, says he knows where Carly is. Walker presses him, but they continue moving up the street. Sam says he wants to negotiate, and Walker really doesn't like that. He wants to just jump in and grab her. Tries to guilt Bucky. Are you really going to let him do that? Go into a room by himself with a super soldier? Bucky just says, he's dealt with worse and he's not my partner. Sam explains he has experience counseling soldiers but doesn't want to hear it. But Walker doesn't want to hear it. It takes Battlestar to talk him into it. They meet up with the girl from earlier, and she leads them to the funeral. While Sam walks in the building, Walker handcuffs Zemo and says he only has 10 minutes. And it's Carly speaking at the funeral. She says she has always been alone until Mama Danya took care of her. She spots Sam upstairs. She goes on to say that we are all one world and one people, so live accordingly. Sam and Carly meet. Sam says he understands her pain and suffering. Carly says she's making the world a better place, but Sam says it's not better if she's killing people. Carly says he's either brilliant or massively optimistic. Meanwhile, Walker can't handle it any longer. He can't wait. He can't. He's got this testosterone going on, I guess. He wants to go in, even though it hasn't been 10 minutes. Seemingly worried about Sam. I'd be really skeptical of that. But when Bucky stops him, Walker says, it must be so easy for him with the serum in his veins. He tries to guilt trip Bucky. Do you want his blood on your hands? Back to Sam and Carly. Sam tells Carly about how Zemo thinks she's a supremacist. Carly says that's ridiculous, and rightfully states that corporations, referring to the TRC, and those who run them, they're the supremacists. And this could really just be applied to a lot of corporations. Sam points out that she plans to make more super soldiers and that she's killing innocent people. Carly says that they weren't innocent and that she would kill them again. Sam says, wow. Right. She then says that the people who are trying to take away, she then says that it's the same people who are trying to take away his home. Why is he here instead of help stopping them? And he says his sister is waiting for that exact same answer. Sam insists that he agrees with her, just not the way that she's fighting, and that Danya wouldn't either. And then, as things seem to, like, you might be de-escalating, here comes Walker. Walker walks in, ruining Sam's progress, and Carly thinks it was a setup, so she knocks both Walker and Lamar on their butts and escapes. Zemo also escapes his cuffs. And Zemo intercepts Carly downstairs, and he shoots her, and the serum gets scattered across the ground. And he's like, "Is that what I think it is?" Zemo picks one up, and we all get the idea. Oh, is he gonna take it? Because wouldn't put it past Zemo to be like that big of a hypocrite where he'd think, "Oh, well, I can use the serum because it's me. I won't go crazy." But he ends up smashing them. Carly gets away, and Walker throws a shield at Zemo, incapacitating him. Walker then sees one vial on the ground, one that Zemo missed, and he pockets it. Carly gets patched up, and they get a text from the power broker saying they want the serum back. Really curious who this power broker is. At least I am. The other Flag Smashers talk about how they need to take care of Sam and the gang, but Carly doesn't want to fight Sam. She says that they will separate them and kill Captain America. Zemo asks Sam if he would have taken the serum if he was offered, and he's surprised with how fast he says no. He really means it. He continues trying to push Sam away from Carly. There's no hope for her. Super soldiers can't be allowed to exist. But Sam pushes back. Isn't that how gods talk? And if you mean that, what about Bucky? On cue, Bucky walks in, going on about how Walker is crazy and that he knows because he is also crazy. And Sam shouldn't have given him the shield. Sam says, "I didn't give it to him." Well, Steve didn't, Bucky replies. Walker and Battlestar kick in the door, demanding that he hand over Zemo. Sam shuts down Walker, saying that he had Carly, but Walker overstepped, while Zemo was actually useful. Walker starts getting aggro. How do you want this to go? Should I put the shield down to make it fair? Like he wants to fight Sam now and prove himself. Sam scoffs. A vibranium spear shoots across the room right in front of Walker. The Dora Milaje then, walk in. And, now Walker wants to try and talk things out. Sam explains he might want to fight Bucky before the Dora Milaje. He puts his hand on Io's shoulder and then, proceeds to get knocked on his ass. Everybody else is just kind of like enjoying the show. Got Zemo here taking a sip. Oh. All right. Sam and Bucky try to dissolve the situation, but get caught into the fight, allowing Zemo to escape. Unfortunately, we get a cool shot of them like pinning the shield to this table, well, with Walker with it, and it just show you how skilled and strong the Dora Milaje are. Don't want to mess with them, even, you know, a super soldier like Bucky can't handle them. You know, Io then promptly disarms Bucky since it's vibranium and she would be familiar with it. They find out Zemo's escaped, and we get a cool shot of this member of the Dora Milaje holding the Captain America shield. You know, future Captain America, maybe? Probably not, but be cool. You know, but Walker here looks really destroyed. See the look on his face? You know, we get a cool shot of how the tech in Bucky's arm connects, or how it connects to him as this like vibranium lock mechanism. And like I said before, Walker is completely destroyed. They weren't even super soldiers. And immediately after that shows Lamar and Walker in this mall or something, and he asks Lamar, if you had the chance to take the serum, would you? And Lamar's like, hells yeah. I mean, to be honest, I kind of would be too. He's like, power just makes you more yourself, right? And Walker asks, like, well, what about me? And Lamar says, well, you have 3 medals of honor. You always make the right choice in battle. You know, it's like we didn't just see him, you know, completely fumble everything in this episode. And Walker replies, it was the worst day of his life. It didn't feel right. And being Cap is the first thing in his life that has felt right. You know, Lamar insists that you know, imagine how many people's lives we could have saved if we had the serum back then. And Walker agrees. That's where we get to the point where Carly calls Sarah, saying, you know, claiming that Sam is working for Captain America. You know, Sarah, of course, says, like, oh, well, Sam isn't working for him. And then Carly makes Sarah set up a meet between Sam and Carly. Bucky insists on coming, even though, you know, Carly wanted Sam to come alone. Sam's upset. Carly called his sister with a threat, but Carly insisted that she wouldn't hurt her. Sam tells her to end it. She says she doesn't want to kill anybody, or she doesn't want to kill him. He's just a tool being used by the regime. He's not hiding behind a shield. She wants him to join. She wants him to join the Flag Smashers. And Sharon gives Sam the heads up that Walker's on his way, and they run to intercept him. And Walker and Battlestar kick in this door. You see, you know, Walker here, hiding behind the shield. He's got like a little pistol over it. Lamar runs ahead to scout, and he ends up getting captured. Then Walker begins trying to find him. And here's where we get the idea that Walker might have taken the super soldier serum already, because he's thrown it. He's thrown the shield after fighting this flag smasher guy, and it gets embedded in the concrete pretty deep. He then kicks this guy clean down the stairs and bends the pipe with his bare hands. Yes, he took the serum. Sam just stares at him like, what the fuck did you do? But Lamar, but he just replies that they got that they got Lamar instead of answering the question. Lamar manages to escape using a knife in his pocket. While Sam and Bucky and Walker fight the Flag Smashers. They're able to fight them off for a while, but Walker ends up getting held from behind. Almost a full Nelson, but not quite. Carly runs up to stab him. Battlestar jumps in the way, knocking her down. Carly then proceeds to punch Battlestar. This is your POV whenever you get on the wrong side of Carly Morgenthau. Yeah, Carly proceeds to then hit him so hard he flies across the room into a pillar, seemingly killing him. And there's the shot of him, hurt real bad up against the pillar. Very likely dead, though we don't have a confirmation on that. Walker goes to him, but he's unresponsive. Everybody runs down the stairs, but Walker jumps out the window, does the superhero landing, and is out for blood. Walker chases this Flag Smasher down, knocks him around a bit, and then pins him down on this monument. This is Jungmann Square in Prague. Not sure if that has any significant symbolism to something like this. I think the guy in the monument's like a poet. I'm not sure. Yeah, the Flag Smasher says, "It wasn't me," but Walker isn't interested in listening, and he brings the edge of the shield down on him a few times, likely impaling him on it. All the while, there's a massive crowd surrounding him. Everyone pulls out their phones, and Sam and Bucky run up, also shocked. As you can see, there's blood going up a good part of the shield, leaving us with one of the most darkest moments in Marvel history. And as you can imagine, everyone in the world is going to see that, and the U.S. government is going to have some real explaining to do in the next episode, I'm sure. 28 minutes, not bad. I'm really hyped for this next episode. Episode 4 is probably the best episode yet, and we kind of knew Walker was going to snap at some point. I'm just not sure we knew that it was going to happen this soon. But anyway, I thought this might be a longer video, so I just figured I'd pre-record it instead of just doing it on Twitch tomorrow night. And this way, I'm not uploading it like an hour before the episode comes out. But anyway, have Marvel Thursdays today on Twitch. Haven't decided whether I'm going to play Spider-Man Web of Shadows or Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I got my new capture card, so it should be a little bit better quality because it'll be through HDMI. I got the HDMI converter for the PS2, and it runs pretty smoothly. But everybody have a good night, and please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much.